Hi, I'm Jasmine Wigfall, the Legislative Director of Social Security Works, and welcome to our June SOAR office hours. Thank you all so much for continuing to join our office hours, completing the SOAR course, and also asking us just as many questions as you all want to so that you all can learn more information about our Social Security system. Today, we're going to dive into one of the questions that we get pretty often, which is how can I learn more about my specific Social Security benefit? Now, up front, I want to tell you that Social Security Works is not the federal government. We are not the Social Security Administration. So that means we can't tell you any information pertaining to your specific Social Security benefit. But what we can do is give you the resources and tools to be able to go out and look for your own benefit information. So today's presentation, I titled Know Your Social Security, and you'll see a little bit later why I decided to name it that. It all starts with the Social Security Act in Section 1143. That part of the Social Security Act requires that the Social Security Administration provide beneficiaries aged 25 and older who have not yet retired all of the information they need to know about their estimated Social Security benefit. And that comes in the form of an annual Social Security statement. These paper statements are to be mailed to each beneficiary annually. And that was really the crux of the law, right? Congress wanted people to know more about their benefit on a really regular basis. And so they decided that the SSA should have to mail these statements to every beneficiary who, again, has not yet left the workforce. The information that Congress required be available on the annual statement was one, your wage record. So you should be able to see exactly how much money you made each year leading up to the year that you actually look at the statement. So obviously, if you look right now, you're not going to see how much money you made in 2021, but you would be able to see what SSA has on record that you've worked and received in the year 2020 and every year before that. Second thing, you should be able to see how much you've contributed to both Social Security and Medicare. So as you all know, a percentage of your income goes toward both of these programs. And on the Social Security statement, you should be able to see very clearly what you've contributed to both Social Security and Medicare. After that, the statement has to make sure it includes what your estimated monthly benefit would be if you retire and receive Social Security, if you become disabled and receive Social Security, or if you leave behind survivors, what will your survivors receive from Social Security? And so those three things make up the main component. And then the fourth thing is one that is an if applicable thing. So some of you are very familiar with what we call the WEP-GPO. The WEP-GPO is the windfall elimination provision and the government pension offset, which requires that some people's benefits are reduced due to non-covered earnings. That doesn't apply to everyone, but if it does apply to you, the Social Security Administration has to provide you with information about how the WEP-GPO might affect your Social Security benefits. The problem is, since about the fiscal year 2011, the Social Security Administration hasn't been sending Social Security statements by mail to every beneficiary over the age of 25. Instead, they have chosen, for budgetary reasons, they say, to only send mailed paper statements to beneficiaries who are 60 and older and who have not yet retired. So to put a number to that, there are approximately 15 million individuals who received a paper statement in fiscal year 2019. And in that same year, there were 175 million workers who were actually contributing to Social Security and therefore should have received a paper statement. So right now, SSA is drastically underdoing the job that Congress assigned them to do. And whether that is for budgetary reasons, as they say, or any other reason, the fact is they're not doing what the law requires, and that is to send an annual paper statement by mail to every eligible individual. So the first thing I want to do is cover where can you get this information, because the fact is some of you are starting to think about retirement. Some of you are maybe a little younger, maybe you aren't necessarily thinking about retirement, but through this course you've learned that you should be starting to think about the things that are going to really influence your future, like Social Security. And so what I want to do is really go through the process of how can you see that information now. And then after that, I want to talk about some advocacy work that we're doing and that you all can join in on that can make sure that more people are able to receive their mailed paper statement, again, as the law requires. So if you all are looking for your paper statement right now, you can visit My Social Security. So the Social Security Administration has portals for individuals to log in and be able to see their Social Security statement and complete a number of other transactions with the Social Security Administration. So I put the website there on the screen. It's myaccount.socialsecurity.gov. There, it's pretty easy to find the link that says to make and create a My Social Security account. You can, again, view statements and do other things through that account. But what I do want to say up front, and because I'm not SSA, I can tell you this pretty openly, the My Social Security system is a great portal for people who are very well versed in technology, who are easily able to verify their identity, individuals who can create really complex passwords. And I mean, it works well for the people it works well for. But as Social Security works, one of our major concerns is that it has not worked well for everyone. And we know that anecdotally through our conversations with people across the country, everyone doesn't have the same experience while they're trying to log into their My Social Security account. And so this is really, it's not discouraging you from going to My Social Security, because if it works for you, I want you to be able to access that information. And also, if you prefer to receive your information online, that is completely okay. Please feel free to use the information that we're giving you to go find your Social Security statement. I've used it before, and I know other people, again, have had success doing it, but I don't want you to become discouraged if the system doesn't work for you. I hope that our conversation today actually leads you to advocate for people to receive their mailed paper statements, in addition to having the option of receiving a digital statement. So again, let me bring the slide back up here so you can see. It's myaccount.socialsecurity.gov if you want to find your Social Security statement on the Social Security Administration website. So let me remove this for a second, because I want to give you a couple examples of what your Social Security statement might look like if you actually go online and look. And SSA has a couple really great examples for you all to see. So I'm going to stop sharing this part of my screen and pull up the example Social Security statement. Now, this particular statement is for a worker who is younger. That means that they have not yet reached the 40 quarters of work that are required to receive retirement benefits, but they have received enough to receive disability benefits or survivor's benefits. So this will look a little bit different based on the type of worker or the category of worker you fall into. If you're closer to retirement, your statement will look different. If you're a mid-career worker, your statement will look different. But again, I'll share this slideshow with you also that you have access to all three examples. So with this statement for the younger worker, you'll see this is a fictional worker named Wanda Worker. And at the very top, they give you the information that you're probably looking for the most, which is what would your Social Security benefit be if you retire at your full retirement age? And that varies per generation, I would say. So I'm not going to try to guess what everyone's full retirement age is. But for this particular worker, their payment would be about $1,229 a month. Now, they take into a range of information when they decide what that is, and they explain that later in the statement. But this is, again, an estimate of what you might expect from Social Security. Again, there's more information here about the Social Security statement, about what your benefit might be. So at the top, you saw the retirement benefit, but down here, you can actually see on the second page what an estimated disability benefit might look like, what an estimated survivor's benefit might look like. And there's even a little bit of information about Medicare, because again, these systems are highly related. The contributions that we put into Social Security pay for Social Security, contributions we put into Medicare pay for Medicare. But when it comes down to it, the Social Security Administration is the place where you're going to go for those systems. And so that's why they are giving you information about both. The other thing that you learn on this statement is your earnings record. Now, this part is probably, in my opinion, one of the most important parts of the Social Security statement, because it allows for you to look for errors. The Social Security Administration is very good at what they do, but they could make a mistake. And what we don't want is for people to see much too late that they're not receiving the right benefit because in 1998, they worked a different job than what the Social Security Administration was aware of. So what's important about looking at your statement more regularly than just when you turn 60 is making sure that the earnings that you made in each year are accurate. So you should be able to see everything that's, again, covered work from the time that you were 15 or 16 to the time that you retire. And again, like I said, if you're looking for more recent, like the current year, you might not see that, but the years before will be there and you'll see exactly how much you made in each year. And then after that, like I told you, a portion of all of that goes into Social Security and Medicare, and you can see your estimated, they call it a tax here, but I'll say a contribution, as we have stated in the SOAR course. Any of your Social Security and Medicare contributions should be listed here on the statement. And as I said, they really want to make sure that the earnings statements are accurate. And so the Social Security Administration provides a number for you all to call if you find that something is incorrect on your Social Security statement. And again, that has a direct impact on how much benefits you receive. So by all means, you should be double checking this on a pretty regular basis. Lastly, they give you more facts about Social Security, information you might want to know before you decide to retire, and all sorts of details about when maybe you should consider retiring if you become disabled, and the protections that you have for your family if you were to pass away before reaching age, for this worker, is before age 67. So there's so much good information in here. And again, if you enjoy seeing this information digitally, then by all means, you should go to My Social Security and really use the tools that SSA has provided to be able to see that information. Now, to move on to the rest of our presentation, I want to go back to the presentation that I was showing you earlier, the slideshow, I should say. So the advocacy work that I mentioned we are doing is really important because while the law is stating that Social Security has to send paper statements to workers, we know that that's not happening at the rate that it should be. And for us, that's really concerning because we want people to learn about Social Security in a way that is most helpful. And again, that doesn't mean that we don't think people should have access to the information online, but it does mean that most people are not going to the Social Security Administration website to look for this information. They should be receiving a piece of mail with all of this information included so that they can better understand their Social Security benefit and so that they can make corrections if they need to make corrections about their earnings over the years. So thankfully, we have seen just last week a great piece of legislation called the Know Your Social Security Act. And what that bill would do is just reinforce what the law already says. It would require SSA to send these paper statements by mail as Congress intended for them to do. Now, what you'll notice on this slide is that next to each bill number, there are 2 members of Congress from each the House and the Senate who have introduced this bill. And I think if you're familiar with these members of Congress, you'll note that there's 1 Democrat and 1 Republican for each bill. That means that this bill is not only bicameral, meaning it was introduced in the House and the Senate, but it's also bipartisan. And that's pretty rare these days, as you could imagine. Congress is quite divided on a lot of things, but the Democrats and the Republicans have come together to introduce this piece of legislation. So in the House, H.R. 4143 has been introduced by Chairman Larson, again, of the House Ways and Means Social Security Subcommittee, as well as Representative Vernon Buchanan. He is a representative from Florida's 16th District. They both championed this issue last Congress, and so I'm really glad to see that they are continuing this charge and leading on this issue to get paper statements reinstated for all beneficiaries. In the Senate, the bill has been introduced as S-2204, and Chairman Ron Wyden, who is the chair of the Senate Finance Committee, has introduced this bill along with Senator Bill Cassidy of Louisiana. Again, really happy to see the Senate take this piece of legislation up because last Congress we saw it introduced in the House. It actually was passed through the Ways and Means Committee, but unfortunately it didn't come to the House floor for a vote. But I'm more hopeful this year than ever before that this piece of legislation could actually pass because, again, it's bicameral. It's been introduced in the House and the Senate, and it is bipartisan, and that should indicate that there is a path forward for this piece of legislation to move pretty easily. So on the next slide, I put a short summary of the bill. That's from the OnePager that Representatives Larson and Buchanan and then Senators Wyden and Cassidy issued last week upon the release of their bill. And I put a link there where you can access that information, the full OnePager and full bill text if you're interested. Again, I will pass along these slides for those of you who want more information or want to use this for your own work. And then lastly, as always, we just want to encourage you all to become involved. If you think your member of Congress should be a co-sponsor for this legislation, I put the number for the Capitol switchboard there. It's 202-224-3121. But calling is not the only way to reach Congress. As you know through this course, you all can tweet, you all can email, you can write a letter, you can do all sorts of things, meet in person with members of Congress or their staff to push forward this legislation and other things that you all are interested in advocating for. And so again, I hope that you all will keep this bill and other bills in mind as you continue your advocacy work and use the skills that you've learned through this SOAR course. So, as always, we encourage you all to share this information and to share all of the things that we're doing on social media here at Social Security Works. You can share our Facebook posts. You can visit us at facebook.com/social security works. You can tweet with us. Our Twitter handle is @SSWorks. Or you can visit us at our website. It is socialsecurityworks.org. Or if you ever need anything else, feel free to email us. Our email address for this project is soar@socialsecurityworks.org, and we'll get back to you as soon as possible. Thank you again for joining for our June office hours. I'm excited for July because Social Security and Medicare have birthdays coming up. So I'm hoping to delve into how you all can help us celebrate their birthdays in the upcoming months. I hope you all have a happy 4th of July, and we'll see you soon. Bye.